Hey up YouTube. So in this video today, well, I want to have a chat with you guys about dealing with awkward customers. So I'll be honest with you, I think a part of it, you've just got to suck it up, because everyone can be an awkward customer at some point. And I think you've got to look at your own sort of goings on first. So, you know, if you're having a bad day and you're a little bit stressed, weather's turning, you know what it's like when you're trying to get everybody sorted, you know, especially towards the end of the season or the start of the season, you know, or that busy point where everything seems to be growing. You know, you're trying to get on top of things, keep everybody happy, and then you have a text message through, not much grass on this week, Sam, leave it. Oh, I forgot to open the gate, can you come next time? You know, and I think a part of it, you've just got to suck it up and just think, right, that's it. You know, because otherwise what will end up happening is that, you know, you're not going to fly off the handle. You know, you're not going to go home and rip the grill off the wall because, you know, you've burnt your cheese on toast. But, you know, you could put yourself in a situation where, you know, you might put that customer in a thing where they're not happy. And you've got to remember, to them, it's perfectly legitimate. And to an extent it is. We all forget to open a gate. If a customer doesn't feel like there's enough grass to be mown, even though you know there is, well, to them it's a perfectly legitimate, you know, thing. And as well, you forget things, I forget things. You know, I'm not making excuses for bad customers, but you can see yourself, you know, think about it. I've missed a doctor's appointment, I've forgotten about a hairdresser appointment, and I've had to ring you and say, look mate, I'm dead sorry, I'm leaving now. You know, I've had to ring up a doctor's and a dentist and said, look, I'm ever so sorry. We all miss appointments, we all forget things. A customer can forget to open a gate. You know, it's natural, it will happen at some point. Now, if that customer keeps forgetting, and I've said this before, people will throw things in as a barrier. So they will lock the gate, you know, they will leave furniture in front of the gate so you can't get through. You know, they will leave cars on the drive, they will pretend not to be in, they'll do stupid little tricks to basically make it where you have to miss a visit, which then means that they say 35 quid, 20 quid, whatever it is. Now, it's up to you how you deal with this and how often. You know, do you start going down the route of, right, they've cancelled 3 cuts or moved 3 cuts, you know, I'm leaving time for them as a business, and therefore basically I'm leaving them, you know, I'm taking them off the round. That's up to you. Do you think, you know what, they've missed a visit, you know, it's only around the corner from me, and I've got a lady and she's around the corner from my house and she chops and changes all the time. And I'll be honest with you, I think to myself, you know what, it's annoying, but at the same time, it's 25 quid for 15 minutes work. You know, it doesn't matter if it's, you know, either way it's the same. You know, it's the same amount of work, same amount of effort, whether it's been left 3 weeks or 2 weeks. It's like I said, it's what you can put up with. I think on social media, there's, you know, a lot of people, and the strongest views often get through. I've read it before where people have said, and I've even had it where they've said it to my face, you know, in a conversation where, you know, anybody that puts a problem up, they're gone. I'm sick of it now, I'll get rid of it. And I think that's the start of a person becoming a bitter tradesman. And we've all seen it and we've all experienced it where, you know, you have a tradesman, you think, God, why are you in this job? You know, or shop staff. God, the amount of customer facing people I speak to in job roles, and I just think to myself, why are you in this job? You're just so rude. You know, you go in there and there's no sort of humbleness to them, there's no sort of niceness at all. You think, God, you know, you're in a customer facing role, you know, how are you so miserable? And I don't understand it. I really don't. I don't understand it, why people are like it. You know, the amount of times I go in pubs, restaurants, cafes, takeaways, you know, and they're just so miserable. I just think, why are you in this role if you like this? I genuinely think if you're in a job and you detest it that much, and it's washing through to a customer, and the customer's able to pick up on that, me personally, you shouldn't be in that job role, no matter what, because you're not doing it to your fullest to your extent, you know, that you possibly could do. And also, it's obviously killing you inside to be there. So just, you know, move on from that job role. But like I said, guys, it's something that I think a lot of it's what you're willing to put up with. Like I said as well, you will get it all the time, unfortunately. It's, you know, as much as the grass is green and, you know, water's blue when you look at it, you will get problem customers all of the time. This year, I've seen customers that last year never caused a problem. This year, they're chopping and changing visits, they're cancelling visits, just the same as last year. Customers that were causing a problem have not caused a problem. They've not been tight this year. Like I said, I can't work it out. There's not been a problem. So I think the majority of times when I trace back to what causes problem customers, what causes awkward customers, I think I'll say this, I think it's money. Where people think they haven't got enough money and they're cutting back, and they think, and don't get me wrong, a pensioner in a little bungalow that's living pension to pension, who doesn't really like a garden to begin with because it's just something else she's got to do, that £25 probably is the difference between her having a little bit of extra eating on or a little bit of better food. So it is important to some people, but I genuinely find that people in that situation are the people who are least likely to cancel. You know, they want to keep the place looking nice, even if it's not their own, even if they don't like it, you know, they're willing to keep it up. It's the people where they're in the 5-bedroom bungalows and they think that saving £35 is going to, you know, end all of their problems and all their money worries, even though they probably haven't got any. You know, so like I said, I think as well, customers that are just plain awkward to begin with, you won't train it out of them, you won't convert them, you won't turn an awkward, horrible customer into a good customer, because it's a personality trait. I genuinely think tightness is a personality trait, and being an awkward bugger is a personality trait. You will not train it out of them, you'll not convert them, you'll not move them onto your way of thinking, unfortunately. That's what it is for them, I'm afraid. So, like I said, it's where you're willing to draw the line and what you're willing to draw the line on when it comes to what you want to put up for your business. I can guarantee if you said, right, you know, if people chop and change 3 times in a season and you make that one of your core rules, you'll bend and break them rules at some point. Because, like I said, in fact, you know, if it's an easy job, easy 20 quid, easy 30 quid, you'll take it, you know. It depends though, isn't it? Maybe in a couple of years' time, I'll be looking and thinking, you know what, and the customers this year that have been like that, they will be going next year. They will be going in favour of making rooms for people that are more, you know, basically more sort of, you know, appreciative and more sort of willing to play the game, let's just say. Like I said, we don't ask for much, you know. I don't want, you know, 20 cups of tea when I turn up and the customer to push the lawnmower for me while I sit down. I just want to do what the customer asks me to do, which is to cut the grass on a regular basis, you know. And if we agree a fortnightly visit and it's growing and it needs cutting on a fortnight, well, let me do that. So that's this video all done and dusted, guys. As usual, have a good day and keep on gardening.